Turning Sundays into sold days, why your real estate agent works hard on a Sunday while we're there showing properties when no one else is. Stay tuned.
Boom. All right.
Good evening.
We're live.
How are you, Billy?
I'm very good. Very good. You?
Doing well, thanks. Novak News, Monday evening. Guys, today we're going to be talking about Sunday opens, turning them into sold days.
Well, see it Saturday, as Glenn would say, sold by Sunday. Monday, we're putting up stickers and popping bubbles. It's quite often you find yourself really liking a property on a Saturday. Maybe you want to bring mum and dad through, friends, family, and you can't get back through till Wednesday. It's like, drives you crazy.
It does, especially if you're really keen on a property as well. Or most of the time I find when we're talking to buyers on Saturdays, they're just too busy. It's really, really hard when you got kids sport, you've got other open homes as well. It's really, really tough sometimes to go and look at all the properties you want to.
Yeah.
Versus what I found is Sundays people actually have the time.
Well, that's, Saturdays are great, but it's quite often interfered with Saturday's sport, kids' commitments, birthday parties. Glenn's birthday's this Saturday. So there's lots of things that get in the way of your inspections, and Sundays quite often is the only time of the week everyone's actually got a proper day off.
Correct. So that's on the buyer's side, obviously. So it's great as a buyer when you've got an agent showing on a Sunday. Purely just from a time commitment point of view, I find that most of the time as well, people are just a little bit more relaxed on the Sunday as well, just because of those reasons we discussed. So it makes it more, you can more go into depth in a property. On the flip side, for vendors, it's absolutely brilliant because you've got agents that are willing to make your property more accessible, which results in two things. You're going to be sold quicker and you're going to be sold for more money.
Yeah. Now, I think that selling for quicker is relatively self-explained. It makes sense. The more frequent you can have access and the easier it is for buyers to come through, make offers, fall in love with the property, therefore results in a generally shorter days on market.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us, how, as the deal maker of Novak, the gentleman putting together 4 deals a week, how does it make us more money? For a vendor?
Good question. So I'm going to take the flip side argument and say for someone that goes, why would you bother doing it? It's just a waste of time. The property's going to sell anyway. And I can give some great case examples for why we do it. As a buyer, people think that when a buyer's looking at a property, if they see it on a Saturday, if it's the right one for them, they'll hang around, they'll negotiate, and then eventually they're going to buy it anyway because that's the right one. You can't find a property similar, so we know the buyer's going to hang around. The truth of it is, buyers do not hang around on properties. Irregardless of how perfect it is, I find that when there's more time between when someone sees a property initially to when we've actually got to the point of exchanging a contract with them, the longer that period of time, the less likely it is that it's actually going to be put together for one of 1,000 reasons. The more time that people hang around, the more time they have to talk themselves out of it, go look at other properties, whatever it might be. And I find that's the biggest killer for deals.
These are reasons we don't even know. They're reasons that the buyers may not even know.
Correct.
Sometimes it's literally, the short break in between seeing another property and thinking, oh, well, I like it for, maybe another couple of reasons.
Correct.
There's a, good old saying, strike whilst the iron's hot. And this is just so...
It's so true.
Such an example.
Because people will get that sort of over-analysis going, and it could be the perfect property. But the more you let it sit there, the more they go, oh, maybe not. So that's the ethos behind it. So to give you an example, like Billy said at the beginning, we will show a property on a Saturday. We have a buyer that comes through. As agents, we do our callbacks on a Saturday afternoon. I'm not sure if everyone else out there does it, but we follow up those buyers as well, and then we'll invite them back to come and have a look on a Sunday if we've got access to the property then. They will come through then on a Sunday, and if it's the right property for them, we have the ability to negotiate and close out that same day. Now, this is before all the other agents who show them other properties on a Saturday haven't even done their Monday callbacks on it. And by the time they get back to it, that buyer's already committed and bought a property as well. So for the buyer, it's great because you've got an opportunity to secure the property you want sooner. But for a vendor, it really gives you the opportunity to get that step up on your competition.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask a couple of questions to the deal maker.
Fire away.
These are questions that the buyers sometimes don't get the chance to. Sometimes the vendors as well. Is cold feet real?
Getting cold feet on a property?
Yeah.
100%.
How can someone go from saying at the open home, I love it, to getting back home and within 2 hours you're doing your callback and saying, not for me?
Yeah, it's so true. And it happens so often as well. There's a lot of psychology in it. Even if like people had their sort of tick boxes for a property of what they want to try and achieve when they're purchasing a property, and it could tick 9 out of 10 of those boxes, 10 out of 10. And people sometimes, when they sit there, they analyze it.
Doesn't any help?
All good things, Mark. That's Mr. Novak. And what they will do is they'll sit down, they'll run through it all, and they will literally talk themselves out of the perfect property. And it could happen for a multitude of reasons. So it is definitely a very real thing. And as I sort of said before, the longer you stretch that timeline out, the more likely is someone's going to talk themselves out of a property, even if it's perfect for them.
Okay, good answer. Do additional like open homes, i.e. Sunday, moving away from your conventional Wednesday and Saturday, does it ever actually impact your campaign negatively because you might have too many opens online?
What we find is, good question. I don't think there's any negative from overshowing a property. The only way I could see it there is for a tenanted property, for example. Yep. Traditionally, a tenant obviously has to give reasonable access, which is 2 times a week. Most of the time we do that on a Wednesday and Saturday. So, of course, you want to maintain that relationship there. A tenant doesn't have a vested interest in the property selling. So it's a bit unfair if you're asking them to get through 4, 5, 6 times a week doing all these open homes. So in that instance there, that can sort of hurt the campaign if your
presentation might not be as good.
Correct, and you're not maintaining that relationship. Versus for a vendor, as often as we can show it, I think it's always great too.
Yep.
Of course, you've got to manage it. Even as vendors, they don't want to be having to prepare their property every single day. It's a lot of effort. For those of you out there that have either sold your home recently or on the market, you can definitely empathise with you in saying it's really, really hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to keep your property from where you'd normally be living in it the way you'd live to having it in sell mode, and it's not very enjoyable.
That's what I explain to my parents, just making my bed in the morning.
Yeah, it's just too hard. So I find that as well is when you just don't want to overkill it. But in saying that, you just want to be accessible as well. So yes, we'll set the open times throughout the week, but to give you an idea, Billy and myself, we're available 7 days a week, literally. If the buyer's willing to look at it at a certain time, the vendor's willing to let us show it at a certain time, whether it be midnight, 6 a.m., doesn't matter, we'll show you through. So I think having that accessibility is definitely positive.
Yeah, I can't imagine in any case how like a private appointment outside of an open home time would negatively impact your campaign in any case.
To give you guys an idea, like for some of these, getting to the topic of Sundays, we do a lot of pop-up opens as well. So we'll have a time where we book in a private inspection with the buyer and the tenant's gone out of their way to set up the property for us, or an owner's gone out of their way to set it up. We will set up a pop-up open off the back of that. We'll just put it up for maybe 15 minutes or so, and it might even be literally a couple of hours notice, 1 day notice, whatever it might be. The amount of time we've had extra people come through those opens who went, oh, I saw that pop-up. I wasn't able to come to the Wednesday. I came on that Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So it's just thinking on your feet and doing what's good for people.
Yeah. And lastly, do you ever have any troubles exchanging properties on a Saturday or a Sunday when solicitors traditionally aren't working?
Good question. Very, very good question. It depends on the individual. It depends on their the amount of properties they've transacted in the past, how comfortable they are buying a property. So I tend to find if someone's very, very new to the property game, in terms of they've never looked at a contract themselves, they haven't even contacted a solicitor yet, they've never purchased a property.
Yeah, I
find that sometimes those individuals go, look, I want to take that step back. I'm happy to take the risk of potentially missing out on the property, to have my solicitor look over the documents, versus I find that someone who's a bit more adept, they've bought a few properties in the past, they know what they're looking for with the building and pest, the strata, looking for the contract, looking for the basic stuff. I find that those people tend to be a bit more ready to commit, especially if the deal's there on the table, vendors ready to go, buyers ready to go. We've sold many properties over the weekends as well. And bear in mind, guys, as well, when we exchange a property on a weekend, it's normally with a cooling off period. So it gives you time with your solicitor to do all the reviewing of the documents throughout the week.
In the week.
But the difference is there's no transaction is risk-free. No transaction is risk-free. There's 2 risks when you're exchanging on a weekend. You can either A, take the risk and wait till Monday, in which case the property always remains in the market till exchanged, so you might miss out on the property, or B, you take the risk of exchanging And then obviously if there's something that comes up whilst you're in that cooling off period that you're not happy with, your finance falls over, whatever it might be, then obviously you do forfeit the holding deposit. There's no such thing as a risk-free transaction, and we've done it both ways, on the weekends or on Monday.
Yeah, either way, I think the best way to navigate around this, if you're a buyer in the marketplace, is have a good solicitor on your side, someone who you can actually reach on their mobile number, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday. Because if you find the property
100%.
you really like, it's actually the small problem is not being able to reach them. The bigger problem is just trying to find the property you love.
Correct, exactly. And when you do find the property you love, and as everyone knows, especially when you're an owner-occupier looking for a property, everyone's so particular. They want that exact property. And when you do find that property you love, you don't want to miss out on it. So and there are solicitors that are contactable that we can refer to people as well that are available on weekends. They're not working the weekend, but they've got their mobile. They'll help you out to be able to look at a contract quickly for you. And it could be the difference in securing the property or not.
I think that's it.
Brilliant.
Anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much it, guys. So takeaways from today. Yes, working on a Sunday is great. Yes, it's advantageous to the buyer. It's advantageous to the vendor. And the biggest thing is why most agents don't do it is they don't want to work that hard. For all the clients out there, it is beneficial for you. But for most of the time, the agents, when they don't do it, there's nothing wrong with it. They just don't want to put in the hard yards. And I think if you've got an agent on your side that would like to do it, I think it's an absolute massive plus, and it's just a win-win.
That's it. So turning Sundays into sold days. Yes, it's possible. Yes, we're doing it. If you want to find out any more, pop through one of our Sunday open homes.
Please do.
See you later.